Few years back in 2017, the top 8 richest men became wealthier than half the world's population. Think of it, just 8 people possessing more wealth than almost 4 billion people. That's a whole different level of inequality, which later on got worse. The number of billionaires on Forbes' 35th annual list of the world's wealthiest exploded to 2,755, to 660 more than a year ago. 2,755 people have an equal wealth as the entire GDP of China, the most populated country in the world and the world's second largest economy. Most of the wealth is now tied in the hands of a few people, and that's not by accident. Most people are not financially literate, since that's not something we are taught at school or by our parents. We are just expected to be good at money management with money, magically. That's why most of our wealth is tied up in the hands of a few individuals. So here in this video, we are going to have a look at money lessons that people learn too late in life. Not just basic concepts such as inflation or compound interest, but we will dig much deeper and find out the lessons that if you learn earlier in life, you can end up on the wealthier side of the world. Let's just get into it with the first point. Number 1. Wealth can be created out of nowhere. When you grow up in a poor family, you live in a world of scarcity and limitations. There's only so much of everything, including wealth. If I'm going to be rich, then someone else should be poor. We are poor because other people have more than they should have. And that mindset literally pushes you to the fight for what is already there, instead of creating what isn't there. Most of the world's richest people become so wealthy by not competing in the same traditional industries, but went on to create new industries that weren't there in the first place. Elon Musk is probably the best example, who literally invented an entirely new industry called aerospace or electric cars. In fact, all of the companies he started, PayPal, The Boring Company, SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, are about creating something new, solving a problem that isn't solved yet. That's why his net worth is $150 billion. It's not just about him. Every successful business is about innovating something new, from Uber to Airbnb, even smaller companies like Robinhood or even Angry Birds. They added value to the world in different ways. They didn't take anything from anyone. They just made the world a better place and got rewarded for that. So stop thinking that you're poor because someone else is rich, and start thinking about how you can add value to the world. Number 2. Be an outlier. People who get into investing for the first time usually start with trading. They would use all the knowledge to analyze a certain company and invest all of their savings. Most of the time, stock prices fluctuates downwards, and when they lose some of their money, they decide to give up and don't give it another shot. And that's what happens to a lot of people. You try something once and compare yourself to others, you're much more successful in this. And you say, maybe this is just not for me. Maybe I should try something else. But the reality is you can literally be good at anything as long as you practice it enough. In fact, that's how the idea of the 10K hour rule has emerged. If you put 10K hours into anything, you're guaranteed to be good at that. And that's what people don't realize early in life. They jump from one thing to another, thinking that's not for them. They're not good enough and perform poorly financially, when in reality, all they have to do is stick to one thing long enough to become financially successful. Number 3. The paradox of choice. Ever happened to you that you go to the restaurant, look at the menu, get frustrated by the number of choices, and would end up spending more time choosing what to order instead of actually eating? That can be an example of paradox of choice. Having a lot of choices might seem great, but it has its disadvantages. In fact, it's actually one of the main reasons why a lot of people can't excel at what they do and achieve some level of financial success. Take an example of investing. The market is filled with opportunities, from tech stocks to biotech companies, to cryptos to other financial instruments. But because there are so many of them, you can't choose to stick to just one of them. As soon as you get deeper into one of them, another one hits the news, and before you even understand what's going on there, cryptos are all over the news. So you end up just following the news without actually taking action or any of them. A lot of people criticize Warren Buffett for not investing in tech companies early on, or avoiding Bitcoin, saying that he's an old man who is not catching up with the world. But that's not the case. He knows that there are so many opportunities, but he also understands the paradox of choices. The sheer amount of choices will get him to nowhere. So he's just focused on one sector, on a sector that he excels. That's why his net worth is over $100 billion. While those who criticize him don't have 1% of his net worth. Eliminate your choices as much as you can, especially when it comes to your personal life. People would wake up and spend 20 minutes thinking about what to have on breakfast, and then another 20 minutes to choose what to watch on YouTube while having breakfast. That's a lot of time waste, which takes you nowhere in life. Number 4. Everyone is afraid. A lot of people would be all praises of someone who is excelling in his or her respective field, but won't pay attention to their journey or struggles. For example, take your favorite YouTube channel. You love its content. You wish you could make videos like that. You would think, I would start a channel as well if I wasn't afraid. Do you really think that creators of that channel were this good when they started? Of course not. In fact, just go back and watch their initial videos. You would find many flaws such as animations, language, picture quality, graphic designing and sounds, etc. Putting out content where you could be judged by the entire world is something normal to be afraid of. But that's the difference. We are all talented and full of great ideas. The difference is that some of us acknowledge that fear and do it despite the fact we are afraid. And others assume that you should not do it if you're afraid. The most important lesson to have ever learned is do whatever you're afraid of. Once you do a few times, that fear either will be gone or you will learn how to manage it. Once you learn how to fight your fears, you will start that business, you will start investing, you will start growing, and you will never be in a desperate financial position. Number 5. Don't work hard for money. If you're like most people, you grew up being programmed that you have to work hard for money. But working hard alone will never make you rich. How do we do that? Take a look in a real world. There are millions, rather billions of people who slave away, working their tails off all day and even all night long. Are they all rich? No. Are most of them rich? No. Are a lot of them rich? Of course not. Most of them are broke or close to it. On the other hand, whom do you see lodging around the country clubs of the world? Who spends their afternoons playing golf, tennis, or sailing? Who spends their days shopping and their weeks vacationing? Rich people? People who don't work hard but let their money work hard for them. That's how you become financially independent. Yes, you do have to work hard for your money. For some people, this is a temporary situation, but for most people, it's permanent. So the goal should always be in your mind that you are going to make and save enough money that will keep earning you money while you're playing golf or enjoying whatever it is that you love or are passionate about. Thanks for watching. Until the next one.